So we're going to be talking a little bit about the history of saffron and how saffron has been used medically. We know that it is recorded as being very valuable and important to the Minoans, the Mycenaeans. It was important in Greek medicine. It's been considered a feminine spice, I would say. And one of the things I found doing the research for this session is that there was a tradition in Hinduism as well, that there was a priestess who was so pious, she whipped herself until she bled and her robes were drenched in blood. And these robes were then replicated, and it's why saffron-colored robes are important in Hinduism, and they show piety and they show spiritual sincerity and seriousness. So that saffron color has a lot of meaning in all kinds of different cultures and mythologies. And the thing that I love about saffron, so the mythology of saffron is often that the red stigmas of the plant are caused by the blood of a goddess. And I'll show you the... Hello, David Bradley. How are you?
Good. Sorry I'm late. Glad to join the party.
Robbed.
Thank you for listening.
You are most welcome. Okay, so I've got my little slideshow here, and I just want to show you this image of... This was from Akrotiri, Thera, Santorini, and it shows a Minoan goddess or priestess having made her foot bleed. Sorry, it's a bit of a pixelated image, you can't see it very well there. Made her foot bleed, and the blood becomes the stigmas of the crocus. So what's really interesting to me, because for the Minoans, their primary goddess is a solar goddess. And what I love about saffron is it's red, like the blood of the goddess, but when you infuse it or when you dye with it, it makes a golden dye and it turns liquid into liquid gold. So it's like the crocus is the blood of the goddess, the blood of the sun goddess on earth. And that's how we can kind of drink this liquid sunlight. So I'm sure you're all familiar with the crocus, but it's one of my most favorite flowers. And I recently saw some wild crocuses at Poseidon's temple just south of Athena in Cape Sunion. And they're really beautiful to see. It was like an extraordinarily windy day when I went there, and they were like trembling in the wind. It was really beautiful. And at the same time, their flowers are a false crocus, which is quite interesting. I think it's fairly easy to tell apart because, you know, what defines the true crocus is that it has these red stigmas, and these are obviously the filaments that you pluck out for saffron. And it's why it's so expensive, because obviously, as you can see here, there's only 3 stigmas per flower head, or very few stigmas can be found per flower head, so it takes a lot of time to pluck them. And the Minoans celebrated this saffron gathering in a lot of their frescoes. So you can see women here, and these look like young women as well, because the Minoan youths had this blue coloured scalp, the same as the Egyptians would depict youths. They'd have a side lock and a blue coloured scalp, which showed that their head was shaved, and they just had a blue one lock of hair. So there's the other image here, so you can see the saffron gatherers there as well. And there was the frescoes at Knossos that were excavated by Arthur Evans. Arthur Evans is one of my favourite little hobbies. I'm really interested in Arthur Evans. He's a fascinating character, and he employed 2 Swiss artists to help him put the images from Knossos back together. And they were both called Emile Gilleron. They're a father and son team. And they basically kind of looked at images like this, for example, and filled in the gaps and made it all look a bit Art Nouveau, Art Deco, and a bit modern. And Arthur Evans had a real bee in his bonnet about the Turks and about the Ottomans occupying Crete at the time he was doing his excavation. And he wanted to ensure that this civilization, this ancient civilization of Crete, would be considered to be the first European culture. So he wanted to distance it as much as possible from Anatolia and from Turkey. But actually we can see now, because we've got better technology, we can scan underneath these frescoes and see where these original images are. The Gilerons, although they're fairly true to some of the frescoes, they used a lot of creative license. And there's a very good example of, you've probably seen the blue boy gathering saffron, and they've done recent analysis of that fresco and discovered that it was a blue monkey. So they were training monkeys in Crete to gather saffron, because obviously it's a fiddly little job, and if you can send a load of monkeys out to do it, all the better. So Eos, Eos is the goddess of the dawn, and I consider her to be a really primordial solar goddess. And she has a heritage of being a very ancient goddess because she's a Titaness. She is the daughter of Thea and Hyperion. So she has this lineage of one of the earliest goddesses of the ancient Greek pantheon. And she is sister to Ilios and Selene. So she's sister to the sun and the moon. So it's very important, Eos as this solar sun goddess. Something of Eos comes from the religions of Manoa and Mycenae. Like, she is that old, definitely. And she's often referred to as being saffron-robed. So it ties in, there is an association there with the culture, the healing culture, the spiritual culture of Manoa, of Crete. So this is, as I was saying, you can see the crocus flowers are blossoming on the rocks here, and these women are gathering the stamens, and this figure here has injured her foot and is bleeding, and the red blood is what makes the crocus stamens. And you have the saffron robes have real significance in Hindu mythology and Hindu culture as well. This color of saffron is an echo of this priestess whose robes were drenched in her own blood. And Eos is often a winged goddess. She flies through the sky at dawn. She sometimes has winged horses with her as well. And she's described in the Orphic hymn or in other Orphic texts as being rosy-fingered. And dawn is my absolute most favorite time of day. That twilight, when you see those first sort of streaks of pink in the sky, to me is the most magical time of day. I feel like at dawn we make this covenant with the heavens, and Eos is the guardian of this kind of sacred relationship. And one of the exercises, as I've started to teach myself ancient Greek, my favorite exercise is translating the Orphic hymns. So I'm going to read you my translation of the Orphic hymn to Eos now, and then we're going to do our incubation session and talk about our exercises as well. But I'll tell you a little bit about how I do my translations. So I use morphology and etymology websites, and I look at existing translations. But I like to do the gods and goddesses, or at least I'm doing the gods and goddesses first, that I have the strongest feeling and resonance with. And Eos is a goddess that I have this deep sense of love for, because I love the dawn so much. It's one of my most favorite things in the world, especially to wake up at dawn, swim in the sea. And in Greece, the little fishes, actually even in Hastings, the little fishes, there's a dawn chorus of the fish, which I didn't realize until I started swimming in the sea at dawn. There's a dawn chorus of fish as well as a dawn chorus of birds. And when you swim in the sea at dawn, I think the fish like the light and the warmth hitting the water for the first time, and they kind of jump up, and it's the most magical experience. And we get some beautiful sunrises where I live in Greece, and actually in Hastings as well. Beautiful pink sunrises. Something very special happened to me when I completed this Orphic hymn to Eos. The next morning, because I'd been working on the hymn, I was like, I'm going to go and fumigate frankincense and honor Eos on the beach. I was living in Hastings, and I had been to my friend Danny Nemu's hypnosis night in Hastings the night before, and I'd had this vision of Eos riding Pegasus with rosy pink glowing wings, and she approached me, and she had a disc behind her head. It was like this beautiful dawn-like image of the goddess. And so that morning I was like, right, I'm going to make myself get up and I'm going to fumigate to the goddess. So I went to do that, and the sky just turned the most perfect shade of pinky purple that had been in my vision. And not even that, the clouds took the form of wings, and I could just see like feathers. And as I was burning this frankincense, it was this amazing experience. So I was very pleased to translate this hymn. So I'll read it to you now. Hear me, torch-bearing goddess who leads mortals into day, bright beaming EOS reddening throughout the cosmos, angel of noble Tithonus, you march vermilion out of the gloomy night, rising in your eastern lands, emerging from the depths of the underworld, beacon of the divine light that embraces all mortal life. You delight mankind. Without you, we would cease to exist. You allow us mortals to see beyond reality whenever sweet sleep is lifted from our eyelids. All human beings rejoice. Every crawling, creeping animal, all four-legged, all winged creatures, all those of the sea, every being, you breathe life into all of the working people. But most blessed is the initiate who stands in your sacred temple of light at the break of day. And this is how I really started to experience dawn, actually, like that first when you're somewhere where you can see the sun rise over the sea, when you've got that like first ray of light on the sea, is just this magical moment of initiation for me. It's just this rebirth of the day. And obviously the Egyptians really worshipped the rising sun as Kepli, the scarab god, and they saw his rebirthing power bringing the solar ball back over the horizon. So there's a good history of adoring the dawn like this, of recognizing that Kepri in the ancient Egyptian language means becoming. The dawn is this opportunity for us to become every day. Like every day we have a chance to live a new life. And this is why sleeping, especially in ancient Egyptian religion, and death, the underworld, were considered to be so close, because every night when we go to sleep, we are having a little death. We're entering that other world, the sort of semi-duat state. And the same with ancient Greek religion. You have Hypnos and Thanatos are brothers. So death and sleeping and sleep are brothers. So there is a relationship, a kind of kindred spiritness. And in Hypnos and Thanatos, if Thanatos touches you, Thanatos brings peaceful death. Thanatos brings the death that you just fall into an eternal sleep. And it's like a wonderful, blessed death, Thanatos. As he comes to you, you fall asleep easily and you enter the eternal dream. So Kepli, we're going to get to similarities between the ancient Greek perception of these goddesses and the ancient Greek perception of these goddesses as well. And there's a little bit of poetic license here, because I'm very enthusiastic about Saffron. I'm very enthusiastic about EOS. And I think there's an interesting relationship between this blood that we see with the stigmas, the redness of the stigmas, and the gold of the sun. And that these things, they have a sort of alchemical, magical meaning. And we'll get onto that a little bit. So this is the color of the sky that morning. This is my favorite kind of dawn, like this like amazing pink that is so hard to replicate. And this, sorry for the extreme pixelation of this image. I thought I had a high resolution version of it. But you see, like there's so many beautiful colors in the saffron. And we've got a picture of the poppy goddess here from Crete. And you know, I thought I'd just mention how saffron has this power to make you feel euphoric and blissful. It has some of the same chemical components as ecstasy, as MDMA. It does have this like blissful, aphrodisiacal, amazing effect on the human body. And aphrodisiacs were something that were very much celebrated in the ancient world. And we have in Egypt the example of the mandrake, or love apples. They have they have a beautiful smell, and the mandrake plant is obviously very toxic, but the smell of the fruits are aphrodisiacs. And you see them depicted often in tomb scenes. And the blue water lily, again, is seen as an aphrodisiac, and the smell of the blue water lily is incredible. And you see lily buds often represented in ancient Egyptian feasting and partying scenes. And you'll see the women bringing the flowers up to their noses to smell them, because to smell something divine was to be breathing in the spirit of the divine. Like, there was more of a synaesthetic relationship with the senses in ancient Egypt. Is quite evident from things like love poetry, that the way they describe gods or beloved characters is this kind of full body sensory experience of them, not just what they look like, not just the things that they say. It's this full body sight, smell, sound, sensation, touch, everything. So I thought I'd just mention briefly about the relationship between Isis in the Greco-Roman representation of Isis and the Minoan goddesses, and some of the images and symbols of the Minoan goddess, and how this might tie in with the Egyptian goddess and then the later Greek manifestation of Isis. So the Minoans had this important symbol of the sacral knot, and you can see this on this kind of Greco-Roman version of Isis that's in the National Archaeological Museum of Athens. So in ancient Egypt, Isis's symbol, or one of them, is the tiet, the knot of Isis. And this, by some scholars, is thought to be a piece of linen that's soaked in menstrual blood, and blood was like a magical magical formula for the ancient Egyptians. Had a lot of power. Blood basically is the life force of a human being. You know, it's what fuels our creative will. So blood was considered to be really important, and obviously blood sacrifices are important into the Greek period as well. So by some scholars, they think this was actually almost like a sanitary pad, in fact, where you would collect the menstrual blood of women and use that blood in magical rites. And the knot is a kind of binding magic. So you create what you want by this binding, this tying, this knotting process. It's bringing forces together, a kind of solidifying and linking them. So the sacral knot is significant to the Minoans, and the tiet, which is very similar to the sacral knot, is very significant to the Egyptians. And then Isis in the Greco-Roman period is often shown wearing a dress with a sacral knot at the front like that. And then just very briefly, I'll talk about, because I'm in Wales at the moment, and where's my book? So there is a tradition of, is that backwards or the right way around? The wrong way around. Anyway, so there are these Welsh healers known as the physicians of Medvai. They're legendary healers that the lineage is still going to this day, but they are said to be the descendants of this mythical lady of the lake, a fairy lady who emerged from the lake in this image here and passed on this healing wisdom to her sons, who were half mortal, half fairy. And there are still living descendants of these doctors, because the physicians of Medvai became doctors, they became healers. One of them, the main one, was a doctor to the King of Wales at the time, and it's recorded in the Red Book of Hergest in Middle Welsh. And the healing remedies in that book, which are recorded in this modern version here, they describe how the physicians of Medvai learned the healing arts, and they were trained at Celtic Christian monasteries and Cistercian monasteries later on, but they basically were receiving texts from the Mediterranean, healing texts. They practiced the humoral theory, the same as the ancient Greeks, from even the Hippocrates time. So they were actually receiving transmissions from the Asclepians via the rest of the Mediterranean through this Christian monastery network. So the Christian monasteries in Wales basically became at the equivalent of the Asclepions, because people would go there for healing. The monks were trained in the healing arts. And interestingly, the healers in Wales were cultivating up to 25% Mediterranean plants. And the physicians of Mumbai distinctly mention saffron. They're really into saffron. They say that if you eat saffron every single day, you'll always be merry, but be careful that you don't have too much or you might die of excessive joy. And they also mention dittany. And dittany of Crete pretty much just grows on Crete and is very well known in Crete and is a particular plant that grows in that area. So the physicians of Mumbai say that dittany is like the most supreme herb you can get, and saffron is amazing as well. So it's their two most favorite herbs, really. So it's quite interesting that these physicians working in Wales were using these plants from Crete. So the legacy continues. Okay, so we're going to do our meditation practice now. So David, I know you're late to us, but what I suggested was having a saffron sacrament. I don't know if you've got any saffron, but I was saying to them earlier that I've started to have probably about 4 times as much saffron as what you would usually have if you were making yourself something with saffron in it. So I've probably got about 30 stigmas in there. So it's really potent. And one thing I really notice is that now that I've upped my saffron intake from 4 or 5 strands to 30, that's when you start to feel an actual difference in your body. Is that high medicinal type of dose is really useful. I think saffron's being trialed and pitted against antidepressants, and it's shown to be more effective for mild to moderate depression. Like, it's really being accepted by, like, in scientific studies as being an alternative to antidepressants in particular, which is great because there are less side effects or no bad side effects as far as I know, actually. So saffron, I think, is a bit of a wonder spice. So I've been buying saffron wherever I go, and I was also mentioning that I think the saffron from Iran and if Afghanistan is especially good. Usually I think often the little boxes of saffron are from Spain, but they're also pretty good as well. And then I've got saffron from Greece as well, which is a bit more Minoan and fitting for our session today. So if you have your saffron sacrament, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to get yourself into a comfortable meditative posture. You can turn your videos off. You can lie down, get a pillow. You might like to use an eye mask. If you have any of the beeswax candle or a scent that reminds you of the smell of saffron, or you have your saffron sacrament, get those ready. And we shall begin in 2 minutes. So I will start at 20:34. And one thing that I'd like us to think about as we're getting ready for our dream incubation with saffron, with EOS, is what's known as the doctrine of signatures. This idea that plants and animals, everything on the planet, has a signature of the divine within it, and that we can know of the nature of the crocus, of saffron, because of its signature. So we look at this saffron, this crocus here, and We see the colors of it, the shape, the form, the places where this flower emerges, the time when this flower emerges, and consider how these various elements are considered signatures, how the red stamens are the signature of blood, of that vital force of life, that the crocus emerges in the spring, that it's one of the first bursts of colour after the long winter, and of that purple hue as well that we do associate with bliss, with euphoria, with that aphrodisiacal power. So we can see written into the shape and the form of the petals, of the scent, of the leaves, of the presence of this plant, the nature of this plant, and how this plant is useful to humanity, because the true primordial language of life are these natural forms. So we can try to connect with that language in our incubation session now. So if you're ready, perhaps lying down, just relaxing. You've taken your saffron elixir, connecting with the feeling in your body, connecting with the subtle sensations in your skin, in your muscles, in your bones, in your eyes. Sensing saffron in your system, just sending your feelers into your blood, into your body, into your soul, to just find those filaments, that golden color, that liquid sun. So take a deep breath in now and sense that golden elixir flowing into your lungs. Feeling your breath golden, warm, blissful as you relax more deeply, sinking into your bed, into the floor, wherever it is you're lying down. Just really surrender now. You're in a safe, secure, protected space. If for any reason you need to get up, you're going to be able to get up immediately and do whatever it is you need to do. But for now, you can absolutely relax. Just relax and let go. Release everything. Just feel your body like a pool of liquid gold, just sinking in to the earth, dripping into the earth. Your whole body liquid, fluid, melted, running gold. And we mentioned the Temple of Poseidon, Cape Sunion earlier. So I want you to imagine that you are standing next to that great temple of the sea god, the god of trembling earthquakes, earth-shaking god of the sea, Poseidon. great tall columns stretching up into the air, the sun in a perfectly clear blue sky beating down and warming your head, your face, your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Feeling the warmth of the sun on your chest, in your stomach, in your hips, flowing through your pelvic bowl, feeling the warmth of the sun on the tops of your thighs, the backs of your thighs, your knees, your shin bones and calf muscles, your ankles, the tops of your feet, soles of your feet, heels, and all 10 toes. Feeling the warmth of that beautiful golden sun beaming down on the palms of your hands, the backs of your hands, penetrating even into your fingernails, feeling that glorious warm sun on your fingertips, and just feeling your whole body bathing in that golden sunlight, standing next to, in the shadow of, the great temple of Poseidon at Cape Sunion. Standing at the edge, the end of the land, stretching into the sea, feeling a light, warm breeze upon your face now, tasting and sensing the salty air, breathing in the fragrance of the Aegean, the earth, and sensing something, an undercurrent, a faint fragrance of saffron, of crocus. And as you look down, you see some beautiful little crocus plants, lovely light purple and white flower petals. Looking closely, seeing the golden yellow center, and then 3 long bright red stigmas trembling in the wind, trembling in the breeze, and sending their perfume into the air. And feel yourself breathing in this fine, golden, exotic perfume, this powdery, fragrant air. And these little flowers have a great aura of gold around them. And you can sense their potency. Become aware of your body and feel yourself draped in saffron-colored robes, like the goddess EOS, the goddess of dawn, just draped in really generously folded and folding folds of cloth, light, fine linen fabric draped over your shoulders, cascading over your chest and back, gathered at the waist, tied together at the waist, a very simple fabric belt, everything golden, just the most exquisite fabric, emanating this golden saffron hue. Just really enjoy the sensation and the life force that this color brings to you. This color is actually charging your body with spiritual force. It's actually gathering and concentrating spiritual force into your body, mind, and soul. Just allow yourself to bathe in this exquisite golden saffron glow, just bathing in this sensation of life force, of vitality, of golden healing power, allowing this color to surround you like an aura, infusing every cell, every muscle, every bone in your body. Breathing in the fragrance of this divine flower, this gift from the goddess. And feel this belt around your waist take the form and shape of the sacral knot. Feel the satisfying, solid, concrete sensation, this knotting, this anchoring on earth, this celestial life force anchored into your being, connecting you to the divine, connecting you to the goddess, binding your life to the life of the sun. Feel your body relax, becoming soft, melting, enjoying the warmth of the sun, the fragrance of the flowers, of the sea, of the earth, listening to the birds flying overhead, the breeze blowing through the olive tree next to the temple. Stretching your senses, expanding your awareness to feel the texture of silvery olive leaves against your fingertips. Just enjoying that tactile sensation of running your fingertips over these fine silvery olive leaves. Concentrating your awareness now into your fingertips of your right hand, feeling the texture, feeling every vein, every line, every cell in this single olive leaf. Feel the warmth and flexibility of the leaf between your thumb and forefinger. Rubbing your thumb and forefinger together and reminding yourself that when you experience this radiant saffron color, when you experience this glowing golden light in dreams, you will wake up in your dream and remember you are dreaming. Bringing your awareness now, concentrating your awareness now into your right thumb and bringing your awareness into your right thumb tip. Let's say the word saffron, and I want you to associate the word saffron. Feel the vibration, the pulsation of the word as I speak it in your right thumbprint. Saffron, 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 saffron. And let's do the same now for the first finger on your right hand. I'm going to say the word saffron. And as I say the word saffron, I want you to feel the pulsation, the vibration, the sensation of my word in that fingerprint, the first finger on your right hand. Saffron, saffron, saffron. When we're sleeping, our body is, to all intents and purposes, paralyzed. It's a defensive mechanism, a safety mechanism, so that we don't act out our dreams. But there are certain areas of the body that can still make tiny micro movements. And those are obviously our kind of central nervous system. We keep breathing, our blood keeps flowing around our bodies. But our fingertips can make tiny micro movements. Our eyes and eyelids will move with REM, sleep and dream patterns. And our voice box moves when we say words in our dreams. So when you sleep this evening, I want you to fall asleep saying the word saffron. And every time you say the word saffron, feel the word in your fingertips. And do each fingertip, each fingerprint, repeating the word saffron. And a powerful way to do this is to practice this before you fall asleep by pinching each fingertip as you say the word saffron out loud, as you're lying on your back, preparing yourself to enter a dream. Then as you become more and more tired, move to sub-vocally saying the word saffron, and in your imagination, moving your sensation of that word from fingertip to fingertip. So you begin by saying out loud and touching in real life, and you end up saying saffron sub-vocally and becoming aware and sensitive every time you sub-vocally pronounce the word, feeling the sensation, the vibration, the pulsation of the word in your fingertip, trying to move around your places of perception. So moving where you might associate your visual experience to exist to somewhere else. So seeing out of the back, the nape of your neck, for example, or seeing out of your fingerprints, or smelling out of your right kneecap, just moving around, because we can do this in dreams. We don't exist as an avatar with two eyes facing forward in a dream. We are a kind of all seeing, all being, all experiencing creature. So let's experiment with that for a moment. I want you to imagine that you have eyes on your kneecaps and you can see out of your knees. And imagine moving your knees around. You're standing next to the Temple of Poseidon and you're able to see through your knees. And now you can be that much closer to those beautiful crocus flowers. Now you can move your eyes down your shin bones to your toes and use your toes, your toe tips with eyeballs at the end to really closely examine those beautiful crocus flowers, those beautiful bright red stamens blowing in the wind. And as you move your visual perception down your body, down into your knees, then down your shin bones, down towards your ankles, down into the tips of your toes. Now feel your eyes sinking down into the earth, sinking below the surface of the earth, through the kind of hard, dry crust of earth into the rich, dark, fecund earth that produces all life on our planet, sinking into the roots through mycelial networks, through underground streams, underground lakes, chasms, volcanic pockets of magma and lava, sinking down, 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 taking your eyes on a journey into the earth, feeling your eyes move through layer upon layer of earth, sinking down, and feel your eyes now becoming very heavy, very still, very serene, feeling the warm embrace of the earth as your eyes sink down, down into the heart of creation, into that generative, creative, rich, sonic underworld where all new things are born, where all new things come into being, are first thought of, first dreamed of, first felt. Your eyes feel very peaceful, very still, rich, nurtured, protected, sheltered, held. And now feel your eyes multiplying, becoming 10 eyes, becoming 100 eyes, becoming 1,000 eyes. These eyes connected by mycelial fungal threads, luminous, intelligent threads, searching the world, sending, connecting, communicating with all life on earth. Your eyes appearing at junctions and at the ends of every single mycelial thread in the earth, connected like a mesh, like a matrix, holding the entire planet in a net, holding it all together, becoming the actual fabric of the earth. And your eyes are there at every junction, every connecting point, like a web of life, seeing everything and everywhere all at once. Feeling this wonderful sense of wholeness and completion, embracing the entire planet with your own perception, with your own eyes, like beads of dew on a spider's web, or reflecting, or containing, or trembling with the movements and pulsing life of the earth. And imagine now that half of the earth is in darkness, half of the earth is experiencing night. And feel half of those eyes now, those billions upon billions of eyes closing down for the night, falling into sleep, falling into a deep, wonderful slumber. As I count down from 10 to 0, you are going to feel more and more relaxed, more and more surrendered as billions upon billions of your eyes. Your dream eyes fall asleep, closing their eyelids one after the other, seeing these eyelids all closing, trickling like water, eyelids closing until half of the world has closed eyes. 10, 9, 8, 7. The last few eyes still open, slowly lowering their lids now. 6, 5, sinking down deeper. 4, 3. The deeper, the more relaxed, the more eyes close. The more relaxed, the more surrendered, the more peaceful and still and calm you feel. 3, 2, 1. And all the way down to 0. Deeply relaxed, deeply still. Billions upon billions of eyes, all closed, all resting, all peaceful, all still. And then bring your attention now to the other half of the planet, the half of the planet bathing in the glorious sun. And feel every single eye, billions upon billions of eyes, open, alert, awake, enjoying life, feeling the warmth and color of the sun, drinking in that liquid saffron-infused golden sunlight, loving life, loving light, loving the world. Billions upon billions of eyes open, awake, experiencing, drinking in color, information, knowledge, creating pictures and images, drinking in that golden liquid sunlight, seeing saffron infused colors everywhere, feeling those saffron colored robes, drinking the saffron colored milk, picking those red stigmas, and just seeing that liquid sunshine that results when you mix water with saffron, just enjoying and experiencing, completely drenched and saturated in saffron. Bringing your awareness to your left hand, your left thumb, and as I say the word saffron, with billions upon billions of eyes open on one half of the planet as the sun bathes the surface of the earth in its glorious light, feeling the pulsation, the vibration, the sensation of the word saffron in your left thumbprint, saffron. In your first finger, saffron. Really connecting with the sound of my voice and allowing the sound of my voice to vibrate, to pulsate, to create a sensation in your left fingertips, your fingerprints, moving from your first finger, saffron, second finger, saffron, really feeling every syllable, every vowel, every consonant, really reaching into expanding and extending the sensation upon your fingerprint. Saffron. Now moving on to your little fingerprint, really concentrating, deepening the sensation of the word saffron as I speak, following my voice. Saffron, 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 really listening to the sound and experiencing the color, the sensation, the scent, the perfume, the tactile texture, the subtle, fragile nature of the crocus flower, feeling the colors, really feeling and sensing, smelling and hearing the crocus flower, fully experiencing it with billions upon billions of eyes open to drink in and know the flower, know saffron, know the color, know the goddess EOS, because she is rising over the earth. She comes out of total darkness. Her rosy fingers stretching into the night sky. I count down from 10 to 0. And when I get to 0, all of the billions upon billions of eyes that are wide open and awake, enjoying the sunlight on this side of the earth, are going to slowly close, slowly fall asleep. And you're going to follow the sound of my voice all the way down, closing one eye after the other. Thousands of eyes closing at the same time until every single closed eye just rests, just relaxes. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Following the sound of my voice, feeling all of the eyelids becoming very heavy and waves of closing rolling through the earth. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. The last couple of eyes now, eyelids very heavy, sinking into a slumber. So the entire planet held together by a beautiful glittering net of eyes is closed, is silent, is still, is completely calm, completely peaceful, really deeply, deeply asleep, really deeply, deeply golden, in a rich, golden underworld of becoming, ready to rise again like a glorious golden orb, held up by Khepri, the great god, scarab god of becoming, to be the golden disc behind the head of glorious EOS, a completely dark orb held by billions upon billions of closed eyeballs, all silent, all sleeping. And bring your awareness now, shift your perspective now to an observer standing on earth, back at the temple of Poseidon, standing firm in complete darkness, night overtaking the planet, stars stretching up into infinity, the imperishable ones glittering in the firmament, just bathing in that glorious starlight, the mother and father of EOS, bathing in that fine, cool, celestial fire. There's a coolness to starlight, distant, cosmic radiance. and look at how the starlight is reflected upon the water. Look out now across the Aegean. See the glittering of the stars reflecting upon the surface of the water. Tap into that experience of sound at night, the way the world sounds at night time when all the birds have gone to sleep, or there are just night hunting owls or nocturnal animals. Just listen very carefully and try to remember the sound of the night, how things are different at night time, how they sound and smell and taste, how we experience the world when it's dark. Really stretch your imagination into this space, expand and increase your awareness. Concentrate your spiritual essence to be standing next to this great temple of the earth-shaking sea god Poseidon. Poseidon, glittering in the starlight, inky blue-black sky above, not a single hint of the sun. There is no horizon visible, just eternal glittering blackness. The stars are as fishes in a black sea. Feel yourself moving as a fluid, liquid universe, completely merged with all elements, with the fabric of life, of consciousness, of creation. And then notice a slight, very subtle shift from absolute blackness to a very faint, pinkish, mauvish emanation, just casting a line, just forming a boundary between our world and the heavens now, drawing the line of the horizon, reminding you of your place on earth. And then see this pinkness become more and more vivid, more potent, more powerful. Remember that you are part of this great planet, at the mercy of an even greater cosmos. And the planet that you are standing on right now, that you are lying on right now, is moving thousands of miles, racing to face the sun, turning on its axis, adoring, honoring, worshipping the great, life-giving sun. And as you consider this glorious celestial being that provides all life, all sustenance for everyone on earth, just bathe, just consider this light as a medicine, this golden, saffron infused, gorgeous, golden pinky light. This is a blessing, a miracle, a magical covenant between you and your maker, you and the creatrix of all. In this moment, the goddess can communicate with you directly by drinking in this light. You can know EOS. You can feel and taste and smell and sense the goddess when you drink in the first ray of light at dawn, when you bathe in her twilight aura and witness her first moment of becoming. You are part of the rebirth of the world, the rebirthing of the world, and you are then entangled in this moment. You are bound together like the sacral knot at dawn. Your life and the life of the sun are interwoven, are connected. Just bathe in that beautiful moment, feeling the sun lighting up, sun casting its light upon the sea, illuminating the edges of the temple, just making everything beautiful and radiant, and see and sense and hear the birds singing in ecstasy, the fish jumping in the water, catching the glittering sun rays upon their scales. All of nature, the entire world in bliss, because the sun has returned and the sun has again woken up the world, brought the world back to life. Feel the plants stretching, opening their petals, revealing themselves, releasing their essence for the sun, for the love of the sun. Hear the birds singing, the fish jumping and splashing. Everyone slowly waking up and rising. Sky filled with color, filled with life, filled with joy, filled with bliss and merriment. Feeling your body lying on the bed, feeling energy beginning to return to your body, feeling recharged, feeling golden, feeling that knot connects you with the sun, that divine covenant, that sacred union of your life and the life of the planet and the life of the sun. Your body lives on earth. Your soul is eternally bonded to the immortal sun, the imperishable sun. Taking a deep breath now and feeling the radiance of your inner sun melting through your body, radiating out through your fingertips, your toe tips, to every cell, through every DNA spiral, just beaming life and light into the world, feeling solar, feeling celestial, feeling eternal, imperishable, immortal. Taking a deep breath in now. And as you breathe out, feel your breath returning to a normal rhythm, becoming sensitive and aware of your surroundings. You might want to go straight into sleep after this. You might want to just relax and keep feeling this sensation of goldenness, keeping this golden thread running into your dream, and remembering that when you dream, when you see gold, when you see saffron, that you are dreaming, you are dreaming, and you know who and where you are. You are an immortal solar being. Taking a deep breath in, becoming aware of your body now, remembering yourself in time and space. You might want to bring some movement into your fingertips. You might want to bring some movement into your toes. Moving your eyeballs in their sockets, moving your tongue in your mouth. Feeling movement in your face, opening and closing your mouth, wiggling your fingertips and toes, moving your head from side to side. And when you are ready, you may wake up. If you want to go straight off and into sleep, please feel free to leave the Zoom chat. If you would like to stay behind and ask any questions, I will be here for the next 10 minutes.